Hello, what's up, and welcome back to my channel. Data. You've probably discussed it in university or you've had it in some school subject over the course of your life, but it's actually very useful for your personal life as well. I decided to track my entire 2020 based on mood, productivity, how much I walked, all of those things, and today I'm going to show you what that taught me. So let's just get into it, shall we?
It's a beautiful day to feel fine.
So first of all, we got to talk about how exactly I did all of this and why I did all of this. So for this project, I tracked my mood on a scale of 1 to 10 every day, my level of productivity on a scale of 1 to 10 every day, my exercise in kilometers walked, then I had some notes on my day. I noted if I drank my full amount of water, which was 2.6 liters, and then I also noted if I was on my period or not. So why would I do all of this? The answer is simple. I was trying to draw some conclusions from the data and see what would lead to me being most happy, and just overall be able to look back on 2020 in a very numerical sense. And in a way, tracking the entirety of 2020 kind of ended up tracking the pandemic. So all the data is super interesting and super relevant to 2020 as a year and everything that happened, things that we never even thought were possible. And I was able to draw some really good conclusions about me as a person through all this data, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. Also, I'm a Virgo, so I'm obsessed with data and making spreadsheets. That's just who I am. I love me a good spreadsheet. So I'm not going to show you the individual month pages because there's notes on my day that can be really personal. So, that's really not relevant to the theories. However, I do have a blank spreadsheet model made for you, and I'll link it down below so you can track your 2021. It's not too late, and you can learn something about yourself too. So as you can see, we have my 2020 overview page here. We have all the months. We have my average mood for every month. We have my average productivity for every month. We have my average exercise in kilometers walked for every month. And then I just have a list of major events that really defined the month. And then also a little chart. The months in which I most exercised was January, February, May, and June. And as you can see, the exercise really dipped right when the first quarantine started. So here around March, and then April, and then it picks back up again, and then it dips again like October, November, when the UK went into second lockdown. In terms of mood, it's actually really interesting to see that it's basically the last months of the year. My lowest mood was pretty much in January. I was in a little bit of a dip back then. And then June, August, September, and December are my highest mood months, which is pretty interesting to see. I definitely feel October and December as my highest mood month, but August and June really surprised me. I think June is so high on the mood list is because I was very productive that month. As you can see, it's also one of the top productivity months, and I tend to be really happy when I'm very productive. I really tend to, link my self-worth to my productivity, which is not always a good thing, but it's just something that I'm noticing because of this wonderful data. But yeah, as you can see, my highest productivity months were May, June, August, and December. December is very interesting to me. I don't know how that happened, but August was the month I was finishing all the things up for my book, obviously, because that released in September. And then in May, I finished a lot of my school deadlines. And then June, I just worked very hard. I made like 3 YouTube videos a week, so I guess that's why it's super high on productivity. And my exercise, as we've mentioned before, was highest in January, February, so the start of the year, pre-COVID or pre-quarantine. And then again in May and June, I was back in the Netherlands and I was walking more because I noticed the data dipping. So I kind of intervened in that sense. But yeah, mood and productivity are pretty stable overall. They've been pretty stable throughout 2020. And overall, as expected, I am happier when I am more productive. Although days with high social productivity, such as streaming with friends, also lead to high happiness. So productivity isn't really linked to normal productivity, but I count social activity or just having a busy day into the productivity factor as well. Of course, rating everything out of a 1 to 10 scale is probably not the smartest thing. I only had like a few days that I rated 10 on mood and 10 on productivity. And of course, over the course of the year, what was a 7, what was a 6, it kind of changed with definition. I started being more generous with scores, etc., etc. I really only awarded a 10 for anything when nothing could have been better, nothing could have been changed. But yeah, this is, for example, what the data looks like for December. So as you can see, I've blurred out all the personal notes for the days, but this is really the layout I went with. I went with a simple yes, no for the water and for being on my period, and then just averages on the side and a little chart on the side as well. As expected, my mood dipped about 3 to 4 days every time before I started my period, which I think that was kind of subconsciously, I knew that, but at the same time, it was very interesting to actually see it happen in data. Also interesting is days when I walked a lot or exercise in kilometer was high were mainly social days, because when I'm hanging out with friends, I tend to walk around the city. So every time I peaked in exercise, it was most likely because I was hanging out with people. And so that also explains why exercising kilometers is kind of very low throughout the year. It's because there's very little social interaction. Here in August, you can see there's lots of peaks in exercise in kilometers, and that's because I was very social. August was pretty much a normal month again. Lockdown was mainly over, it was fading away, we got to meet people again, and so I walked a lot more because I hung out with a lot more people. But yeah, overall, I think obviously the 2020 data by itself kind of isn't that useful because I can't compare it to like a normal year. For instance, I haven't tracked 2019. I do plan on tracking 2021, 2022, and then seeing how that goes. But obviously 2021 still will have COVID, so it'll still not be a benchmark year to compare to. But I think as the years continue to progress and I gain more data and more statistics, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how life and mood and productivity and all of that changes throughout, the years of my life. Data is beautiful, people. It's very interesting. And even though my conclusions from this research were pretty straight up, I think you can really use data to gain some interesting insights into your life. So I highly recommend you do this. Once again, the 2021 spreadsheet will be in the description, so you can download it and track your own 2021 and maybe learn some cool things about yourself. But yeah, that was it for this short little video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe because all of those things will help me out on my YouTube journey, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!